scenario, I just shoot them the recording afterwards. So without further ado, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with Jamie Null with the Mercer County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we are going to be talking about digital hygiene. So before we get started, oh my goodness. I'd like for you guys to meet our department. I work for the City of Bluefield Department of Community and Economic Development. I'm a relatively new face, just started about a couple months ago. I am not local, but I did receive my master's degree and my bachelor's degree from Bluefield College. Glad you guys are here. Let's cover some quick housekeeping notes. If you don't mind to please keep your video off, keep your microphone muted. Submit any questions you have anytime in the chat box. We're pretty open for discussion at the end. And Jamie, I'm sure will be happy to answer any and all questions you have. This session is being recorded. If you are viewing this recording and you have questions, please feel free to reach out my email and I will list this as a hyperlink in the YouTube. And we do have future sessions, so I will also list that as a hyperlink and I will send you all that link to view our sessions for the future. And I'm going to hand it over to Jamie.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining the webinar. I know there's a lot of stuff going on today. Today's a big day. Of course, the governor's going to speak at 1, so let's just go ahead and get started. That way we can move on with our day. I'm going to switch and share my screen, so just bear with me for a minute. All right, can everybody see my screen? Okay, let's go ahead and get started. What we wanted to talk about today is just how to handle online reviews. We feel like that's an important aspect in today's marketing world, especially during this pandemic. So one thing we want to talk about is where do folks leave reviews? So customers leave reviews on a variety of different platforms. Some of the most common ones are Facebook, Google My Business, Yelp, and TripAdvisor. You should certainly create business accounts on these pages to monitor reviews. So out of the ones that I mentioned, they each kind of have a little bit of their own niche or, one thing that they may be focused on. So for dining, Yelp is certainly popular. In fact, they have an app that folks use consistently when maybe they go out of town to find certain cuisine, and they're almost foodies and they call themselves Yelpers. So they definitely have their own community there. Facebook and Google My Business. Retail stores, you'll look at Facebook, Google My Business, and then lodging and entertainment, TripAdvisor is king, of course, and then Facebook and Google My Business as well. So let's talk about Yelp first. Yelp boasts an average of 92 million unique mobile users per month. Across all of their platforms, mobile, desktop, and the app, they have 178 million visitors. So according to Yelp, when you get a new star on your Yelp page, you will see an increase in revenue. And 45% of customers are more likely to check Yelp reviews before they visit a business. So we talk about Yelp. This is what it looks like when you pull it up on screen. This is a business that is no longer in Bluefield, but their restaurant is still listed on the Yelp website. So if you see right beside the name, the big whiskey, you see unclaimed. And what that means is that when this business was open, they never went to Yelp and they claimed their listing. So what we want restaurants and businesses to do is to go to Yelp and find their listing and claim it. Because what's happened is folks that have been to the big whiskey have kind of created this review page for themselves, but the owners have never went and claimed it to take control of the listing. And as you can see, you can add your hours, you can add your price point, you can add your cuisine. Your cuisine is certainly important because, like I mentioned, folks, when they're craving a certain type of food, they might search out barbecue or Mexican, and you want to come up in that search. You can also put your website and your phone number and directions, and you want to include pictures. The Yelpers love pictures, and a page that has a lot of great photos we'll see an increase in activity. So that's what the page will look like when you go on to Yelp. Google My Business. Google is the review site of choice. 63.6% of consumers say they are likely to check online reviews on Google before visiting a business more than any other review site. But to monitor your reviews, you sign up for Google My Business, and all you need to do is simply claim your business on Google. If you just go and Google claim my business, you'll see this is a page that will come up, and you can start managing a host of information, all your hours, what you offer, photos, but more importantly, it lets you manage and respond to those reviews that come in through Google. Facebook reviews, I think everybody's pretty familiar with Facebook. Of course, now they call them recommendations. You will see that on any business page where folks can recommend your business. And then if they do not recommend is where you can comment and offer feedback. But Facebook is all about creating community, and this is one way that they do that is by letting folks share recommendations about your business. So here are some tips and tricks about Facebook. So I'm in the camp of that you never delete Facebook comments. Just straight out deleting them just creates a distrust between the organization and those potential customers. I believe the better option is just to simply stay engaged. Hiding comments does allow the user to see their comments, but it hides it from other users. And you can use this tool for vulgar or inappropriate comments that come onto your page. But you can go a little bit further, and you can, in your settings on your business page, you can set up profanity filters. We do hide comments that come in sometimes that fall into those categories. It's just an easy way to monitor the commentary on your page and just to be proactive and just kind of stop any bad behavior that might come from that comment. Should you turn off comments altogether? My belief is no, that you shouldn't turn comments off on any type of event or post. While we understand that some things are controversial, it could send a message to your customer that you're not interested in their opinions and thoughts. And in our experience as a tourism destination, if we've had a partner that has turned off or comments or they have just straight up deleted them, usually the user will come to our page to get their point across. So my opinion is that if you just monitor the comments, you're more able to control the conversation than just simply deleting them. So overall, monitor your comments, use the hide feature when necessary, and just let organic, healthy conversation happen. So the next one we're going to talk about is TripAdvisor. 72% of consumers frequently or always consult reviews before deciding where to visit, eat, or stay. So TripAdvisor is kind of king when it comes to travel and tourism. You can see here how many reviews they've had. They list over 7 million locations, and they're considered #1 in travel and tourism category in the U.S. So this is an example of a TripAdvisor page in Bluefield. So as you can see, it's also unclaimed, and it has 111 reviews. So that's 111 reviews. And look, they're mostly they're all very good, positive reviews, but that's 111 customers and fans that just were never addressed by the restaurant. And it's really easy. It's kind of just like Yelp. You're going to click on unclaimed. I did, and then it comes up where you can claim your free listing, and it's actually going to go ahead and place some information there for you to just follow through the prompts to claim your business. So a quick look, most businesses in Bluefield are not claimed, and in other parts of Mercer County, a lot of our partners have not went through those extra steps to claim their business. So the important thing about reviews is kind of also connects to American shopping habits. And I'm a huge online shopper. My husband hates it, but it is what it is. And during the pandemic, I think we've all become really comfortable on add to cart and buy now. So let's just take a look at our shopping habits. And a lot of this information was pre-COVID, so I'm sure the numbers are even higher, but 88% of people will read online reviews before visiting a business. 68 will trust an online review over a relative or friend. 39% read reviews on a regular basis. And 55% use Facebook as a common place to view a brand or read reviews. And of course, the average American shops online once a week, and that's probably even more because of the pandemic. So what are the effects of a bad review? That's always a good question. So according to the Washington Post, an article that they did, a bad review could cost you about 30 customers, but you can take that with a grain of salt because I think it depends on your population base. But let's say you do lose about 30 customers and the average customer spends $30 in your store or restaurant, then that's a loss of $900. But on the flip side, a negative review is a chance to gain a customer by using a positive approach and a plan of action. So what are the plan of action? So here are just some tips on how to address some online reviews. So number one, you want to be prompt in responding to a review. I would say don't wait more than 5 days to respond to that customer's review. And number two is huge. You want to get them offline with a private message, ask to speak to them, give them a phone number to call. Don't get personal. And it's really hard, especially when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into your business and your organization, and you feel like you kind of get your feelings hurt. It's easy to get personal when you respond to those reviews, but just keep it polite and professional. Always try to use the customer's name in the feedback. Number five, just don't make excuses. Don't blame a staff member for being late or explain an internal issue why the gravy was cold for breakfast. Number six, don't argue or justify, because honestly, no one really cares what led to the bad review. They just know they didn't have a good experience and they want to let you know. Number seven, thank you to the person who leaves the review, because sometimes criticism all makes us better in the long run. And is there a next step? Sometimes this is hindered by your budget, but what can you offer the person for their next trip so that you can give a second chance? You can get them back to your store. Is it a coupon? Do you return the item? Do you give them store credit? This really depends on your business. Number seven is find the good in every review. Number eight, always follow up with your initial response to the review. Can you reach out to them again, call, send an email, just follow up in case there's any lingering feelings. Number nine, always encourage your loyal customers to post review to balance out maybe the negative ones. Number 10, and this is hard, of course, but don't stress about the trolls or repeat negative customers. It's going to happen. We had a guy that was going around on Google and he was reviewing that all of our businesses were haunted. I mean, and you could tell obviously that was just a troll. So people are going to be able to pick out the ones that are legit and the ones that are just trolls. Of course, sometimes people just give you a star rating. They don't give you an explanation. They're just going to mark you 2 stars, 1 star, 3. So if they do that, just send them a private message and just say, you would like to see, maybe what led to the rating. But if they don't give you any info, don't keep pushing, just let it go. So these are some examples of some feedback from the review. These are free for you guys to use when you come across some negative reviews. Obviously, you don't want to give out the same response to every single person. So break it up a little bit so that you have some different feedbacks. But some of these are really my favorite, like, thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. I'm very sorry we failed to meet your expectations. I would appreciate another chance to earn your business. Please call or ask for me next time you're at our store. So these are just some great ways to respond to some feedback that you might get on your sites. So this is an example, and I think it's always great to see examples. And this one is in Mercer County, and I have blacked out a lot of the names, so hopefully nobody can figure it out. But this is just an example of a review that got out of control. That really could have been taken care of really quickly and got offline, but instead it went downhill. It started in the morning, and by the end of the day there was 35 comments. The thread turned personal with businesses and arguments between the reviewer and the supporters. The comments actually created more attention than the actual review. And then you can see this screenshot was just taken yesterday, and this review happened probably about 6 months ago, their rating is still 4.9 out of 5. But now, anytime anybody goes to their recommendation review page, they're going to see this 35 comment thread that really wants you to pull out the popcorn because it just goes back and forth so often. But this could have been all avoided by having a plan of action and just getting the person offline in a traditional customer service setting and taking care of it that way. So this is just a little bit of homework. Go ahead, and if you're a business, go ahead and claim your listing on any review site. It just takes a couple minutes. It's free. It's a great marketing tool for you to create a fan base, see who is your friend, who are your fans already, and then you can also see what people are talking about your business. Take time once a week to answer reviews. You know, you don't always have to answer every single positive review if you're getting, you know, hundreds, but, you know, pick every 5th review. Just make it part of your daily schedule to check these sites to see what people are saying about your business. And just remember, as we continue with the COVID-19, that online presence is even more important than ever, because with a lot of the things that are going on, people are online more than ever. And so reviews are going to be a huge part of how folks communicate with businesses.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome. Let me flip back. There we go. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have about reviews or anything that they saw on the screen.
I didn't get anything in the chat, but my gosh, like as soon as I would think to ask you something, you immediately covered it. So
That's good.
But I can't stress how important it is responding to reviews, even if it's like just responding to the not so great ones and offering that line of communication and taking it off of Facebook and trying to solve it personally. There's
right.
I can't stress the importance of that. Well, I'm going to drop our training calendar in the chat. And then if everyone wouldn't mind, Intuit asks that we have a little survey at the end of all of our sessions. It's super quick. It should only take like not even a minute. So if you guys watching wouldn't mind taking that survey, I would greatly appreciate it. Jamie and I can hang around for a couple minutes if anyone has any questions. But in the meantime, I mean, thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, I will be sending the recorded questions, the recorded session to everybody. I guess I could go over what's next for our future courses. On August 12th, Dr. Angela Adair from Concord University is going to be having a session on managing employees and like diffusing workplace tension and developing an employee handbook. And then on the 26th of August, she will be coming back and having a webinar specifically for interviewing and onboarding employees. And she'll get into the weeds on what you can ask, what you shouldn't ask, and what you can't ask by law in an interview. And we'll discuss that onboarding process as well. So thank you all so much for joining us. Again, if you could take that survey, I would greatly appreciate it. And the links to sign up for those additional office hours are in that training calendar link. And I'm going to start recording.